welcome to the Wealthy Lala show with myself, Laurie Larson. Today is episode 239. Yeah, how's it going today? I know you guys can't answer me, hey, but I do care. I am interested. It would be fun, actually, imagine what I would learn about you guys from wherever you are in the world. And I'd love to know if you have any feedback about the show. I'd be curious as to the feedback that I'd love to hear is, what is it that you love or enjoy or like about this show? Like as in what I talk about. So anyways, and if you don't, that's totally fine too. Because as I've said on previous shows, sometimes I think I'm actually doing this more for me. It's like, oh shit, as something comes out of my mouth or as I'm reading something, I'm like, damn, I needed that. So anyway, so I was in a conversation briefly with a person the other day, and I had suggested to them to ask the universe to set it up if it would create greater. And this was something that they were asking for. And I do this. Like, I actually really do this. Like, if there's what I would think is a hard conversation with someone, or a vulnerable conversation with someone that I'd like to have, maybe one of my kids, my hubbies, hubbies. No, I just have one, people. One's enough. One's good. He's good. Or, even on the flip side, like if there's something that I would like to do or have set up for me, something that would be fun, something that would be special, I'll actually ask the universe, hey, universe, can you set this up for me? And then what I then do is I just stay in the awareness and the lightness and the receiving of it, and then see what shows up. So I kind of let it go at that point. But anyways, when I had, suggested this to someone, they said that it had been a really long time where they feel like they've been. Now, hopefully I am getting this correct, okay? Because I am going based on texting, and I get that this is a question that whether it's in this person's world or but it's in other people's worlds, and it sure as the heck used to be in mine. When I feel like I would ask for something and it wouldn't show up, I'd be like, I didn't feel like the universe had my back. So, if you feel like you ask the universe something every day, if you feel like you ask the universe to show you, to give you a sign, to whatever, and you don't feel like you're getting it, then what I would love to invite you to look at is, what would you have to believe for you not to receive the awareness or the setup of what you're asking for? And could it be just that you just don't, you just don't actually believe you deserve it? You maybe don't actually believe that there's a universe that has your back. Maybe you don't believe that the universe is listening to you. And the other thing that really popped into my mind about this too was, do you have a lot of conclusions or about how something should look also, and that it should turn out a certain way? So just say, for example, okay, I've got 3 wonderful adult kids. And say I wanted to talk to one of them, because this has happened. This actually has happened. I've had it happen both ways. So where I've said, okay, universe, something that I feel really that I need to talk to them about, whether it's something that I think that I get to talk to them about them, talk to them about me, like whatever it is, or talk to them about someone else or a situation, something that I feel maybe that they need to know. And what I do is when I feel like I have a really strong pull that way, I'll actually say to the universe, I said, okay, universe, if this actually creates greater for me to talk to them about this, will you please set it up? Now, what's really cool is I've had it set up, and I've had it set up differently than I thought it would, and I've also had it not set up. And honestly, now where I'm at, when it's not set up, I let it go. Like I really, really, truly do. Because if the universe knows what's going on, the universe knows whether I have points of view about something, whether I feel like they need to know this, you know? And maybe, gosh, maybe they've dealt with whatever I think needs to be dealt with. Maybe they've dealt with it 10 times, 100 times better than I ever could, and I'm the one that's still, lagging behind on the understanding of it and the awareness of it. So, I just really want to invite you to allow yourself to be open to it showing up very different than you think it is. Let yourself let it go. And do you know what? This is popping into my head right now too. Sometimes we will play with this shit because it keeps us from enjoying our lives. It gives us another reason to actually feel wrong about ourselves, to be right about self-judgment, to be right about the universe not having our back, to be right about things don't work out for me. Like, look at the beliefs that you have in your world. Like, really get aware. Like, this is where you want to really slow yourself down and start to become really self-aware. Now, I think I mentioned on one show last week or something, I watched David Letterman's my next guest needs no introduction, and he interviewed, it's on Netflix, and he interviewed Howard Stern. And Howard Stern went through a real period of self-awareness and started to realize a lot of the stuff that he chose before wasn't stuff he wanted to choose anymore. Now, not making the old stuff wrong, the new stuff right, but just he began to see what was actually, working for him or not. Like what kind of world he wanted to create in his world, what was actually fun for him, what was congruent for him. Now, I'm adding a lot of words into what he said, but basically, like if we don't become aware of the thoughts we're thinking, it's really, really difficult for us to then see where we're, if I was choosing to swear right now and use the F word, we're really doing that to ourselves. And really we are, but we may not know that we are. Like that's the thing though, is this is not a place for judgment. This is a place for going, oh my God, you're kidding. You mean I could be doing that to myself and I don't even know it? Yeah, and I've been having a hard look at this stuff for myself lately. Oh my God. I'm like fighting and screaming. I'm holding on to that pole. The universe is trying to pull me forward to more joy and ease and fun and everything. And I'm like holding on to that other stuff going, no, no. Do you know, actually, it was really interesting because I was triggered this morning by something. And I could find where I wanted to stay right about my anger towards someone. Okay. And it was really a righteous anger, resentment that I wanted to hold on towards this person. And so I sat in it for a minute or two and I realized, like, Laurie, this is heavy. This is heavy for you, honey. So what questions, what would I have to believe that makes me want to hold on to this anger, this resentment? And you know what I realized? I went, well, number one, I would have to believe that I have no choice still. And I went, God, well, that's not true. I actually do have choice. It might mean that I have to use courage to choose something different, but I do have choice. I can't lie to myself about that anymore. I'm not 10 years old anymore. Okay? I'm in my 50s. I have choice. Okay. And I don't just have one choice. I have many choices. And then I was like, okay, well, what other things would I have to believe that I want to stay, that I'm choosing to stay in this anger, resentment? And I was like, well, I don't believe that the universe has my back. And I'm like, well, sister, although I'm not my sister, but I'm like, well, we know that ain't true anymore. Because when I've seen the magical things that have been set up for me lately, especially lately, and how many of them, and they're almost like, well, sometimes daily and sometimes multiple times a daily. I can't say that the universe doesn't have my back anymore, so I can't believe that lie anymore. And there was another one too, and I just can't remember it right now. And so it's like when you come across something that isn't changing for you, really just sit with yourself and ask yourself, what do I believe here then? What would I have to believe that doesn't allow me to have what I'd like to have? So if you feel like the universe doesn't have your back, or you're looking around and you're going, see, the universe doesn't have my back. It's not showing me anything. It's not giving me anything. Like, are you open to receiving it? I remember not being. And like, I know I've said this before too, even like with all these incidences that are coinciding, or these synchronicities, these coincidences that are showing up, these magical moments that are showing up in my life, they only used to happen, or I used to only be aware of them happening. Like, geez, sometimes it would feel like once every freaking year, then maybe once every few months. You guys got to know that. How many times have you thought about someone and then they text you? Like, do you realize how aware you are, how connected you are, how a part of something greater that you are? So, and like, I love this. I remember when I first started listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he said, if your life isn't, now I'm probably going to butcher this a bit, but basically it's like, if your life isn't getting any better and you want it to, you're more addicted to the suffering in your life than you are to the creating greater. And man, oh man, oh man, was that like a wedgie up my butt with a really big old thong. And I was like, damn, really? And then I sat with it. I sat with it without judging myself. I may have slipped into judgment once in a while, but I did, you know. And I was like, okay, what? I'm choosing suffering here? Like, I'm still choosing suffering? And then I'm not going to lie. Like, I mean, we live in a reality that thrives on suffering. We grieve people's deaths for freaking ever rather than celebrate their lives. We, talk about an illness over and over again. We get joy out of connecting through, oh, you have that, I have that too. Oh, I'm probably going to get sick this winter. Winter hasn't even happened yet, so I get sick every winter. Like, well, what makes us choose that over, wow, I wonder how amazing this winter's going to go? you know? And so if you get a cold, you get a cold. Ask questions around it. What's the cold about? What are you sick of? Were you asking for some more rest and you weren't giving it to yourself? So your body's like, okay, let's get cold, like, or get a cold. Like, it's not a one size fits all thing. So, but you can ask for ease. You can ask for joy. You can ask for fun. And, the other thing that I want to talk about too, before the show ends today, is with regards to asking the universe, is when those moments show up. And I've been noticing this for myself lately, okay? So if I want to call those moments luck, miracles, coincidences, synchronicities, it is so easy to forget about them, okay? And I've been doing this little exercise where you actually tap into where I've been lucky, you make it bigger, you blow it up, and, where's it a color, make the color expand in your body, then tap into another lucky thing. And I've been inviting the luck in more and more into my body. And what I've noticed is that there's a part of me that's almost resisting it. Like, it's like, well, I don't want to feel luckier. I don't want to feel happier. Like, do you actually have a place in your life where you're actually resisting letting your life be good? And these are things that you discover about yourself that you don't even know that you're choosing because you haven't slowed yourself down enough to check. And this self-awareness is an amazing thing. It's amazing what you know about your life that you don't even know that you know. And okay, now going back to when you have those lucky slash synchronistic slash cool moments, do you acknowledge them? Are you grateful for them? Do you expand on them? Do you let yourself receive them even more? Like, oh my God, last night we went and saw our grandsons. We're helping them both get new beds. Well, one got the new crib, and then the other one got the big boy bed. And when we were driving out of the yard, our oldest grandson, just about 3, he's a month away from 3, he's standing outside, and we're driving out the driveway, and he's so present with us, and he's waving goodbye. And I wanted to cry. I actually did get tears, and I've had tears a few more times over it. The beauty of that moment, and then milking it, loving him, loving me for noticing it, like expanding on it, and letting that be my new reality, bringing more of that into my life. Because you know what? We do that with the negative things in our lives. Someone cuts us off and we talk about it the rest of the day. We stew in it. We frustrate, we judge ourselves for it. We judge them for it. Well, what if we took these beautiful moments, like with a grandson, or if you're petting your cat and the cat is just like digging its head into your stomach or something like that, or kneading its paws on your legs, and just like milk it. Let that be greater. So anyways, acknowledge when the universe gives you signs and say, thank you, universe. I'll have even more of that. And see what that creates. So anyways, hopefully this was helpful. It sure was good for me to be able to run through, the different sort of the method of what I've chosen to get myself to this point. And it's good for me to remind myself of what I do choose for the next time that I slip. So have an amazing rest of your day. I hope you guys do have a wonderful one. And thanks so much again.